Hello, everybody. My name is Greg Larson. I'm an engineering leader at Target. I'm excited to introduce our next talk on mapping Minnesota's tech talent programs. Whether it's sparking an elementary student's interest, providing programs for middle and high schoolers, or reskilling adults to prepare for tech careers, we have so many programs and organizations focused on growing our tech pipeline and doing so with a focus on equity and a goal for our workforce to reflect the diversity of our communities. Lisa and Jenna are going to walk you through some of these examples of these programs, highlight some successful partnerships between industry and these orgs, and introduce a new tool that will act as a centralized resource for finding and learning more about these programs. Lisa and Jenna, take it away.
Thanks, Greg. First, I just want to make sure my screen is sharing appropriately.
Looks good.
Excellent. Hi, everybody. My name is Jenna Gilbert. My pronouns are she, her, hers. For anyone visually impaired, I am a middle-aged woman with brown hair and fair skin. I'm currently wearing glasses, an emerald green jacket, and a black flowered top. I've been working in technology for 23 years in a variety of roles. A lot of that time has been directly leading technical teams from software engineers to project managers to operations analysts. Over the past 7 or more years, in addition to my day job, I have had the privilege of working directly with a variety of programs and efforts focused on increasing diversity, inclusion, and equity in tech. Some of those programs exist to spark excitement about technology in elementary age students. Others open new pathways to tech for career-changing adults. All have helped me recognize my passion for inspiring, cultivating, and championing future technology leaders. About 3 months ago, I was given the rare opportunity to align my passion with my day job, and now I am a lead program manager for technical talent programs at Target. In this role, I get to focus on new ways of inspiring and developing our current and future technical talent. And now I'd like to turn it over to Lisa to introduce herself.
Thanks, Jenna. I want to thank you for the opportunity to be part of TechTalent. I've been in the tech industry in Minnesota for over 30 years, and most of that time was with Thompson Reuters, one of the sponsors of today's event, and a longtime supporter, so thank you for that. Upon leaving Thompson Reuters, I led MINTECH in the interim, and I was so honored to have the opportunity to help bring Jeff Thompson, who's doing such a wonderful job connecting technology across Minnesota. I'm really excited about the opportunities like TechTalent that this new team is bringing to the technology industry in Minnesota. So kudos to all of you that helped plan this day. I am now embarking on an exciting new technology career chapter. I'm one of the 55 plus cohort that left the workforce that Ron talked about this morning, but I haven't left the tech community. I'm living my passion for diversifying the future of technology in Minnesota by getting more girls and women involved in STEM. A huge undertaking was being the first employee and executive director of Technovation Minnesota, which I'll talk about later. I'll put my LinkedIn info in the chat, and I look forward to a connect request from all of you. I'm excited about the work Jenna and I are going to talk about today, so let's get started. We have 3 goals for today's session. Goal number 1, we want to inspire you to get involved in supporting students in Minnesota from K through university to try STEM. To aid your future work in this area, goal number 2 is to show you how to get involved. If you're new to the effort or wondering what opportunities are available, we'll show you how to join the movement and partner and engage with the aid of a new website we'll be talking about shortly. Finally, goal number 3 is to motivate you to create new partnerships and advocate for STEM in Minnesota. So in summary, inspire you to get involved, show you how, and motivate you to form partnerships, all in the focus of increasing the tech talent in Minnesota. So let's get started. I always like to start with data. There are many great reports available, and at the end of our deck, we included some links to the reports we're using today. Real-Time Talent, MINTECH, and Ron Hetrick provided some very compelling data this morning. They showed us the trend of a shrinking workforce, the continued demand for technology talent growing across our state, and the need to get creative, engaging new potential groups to enter the workforce. The number of STEM jobs in Minnesota is expected to grow at a faster rate than the number of non-STEM jobs over the next decade. That's one of the main reasons we have TechTalent event, which we're participating in today. We know we need to think differently about how we hire, recruit, upskill, and build our future tech workforce pipeline in Minnesota. Early STEM programs are also critical to our future. We may not be able to save the kids from the traveling sports epidemic that Ron joked about this morning, but we can engage them during this critical decision time. When students report that they spend at least 1 hour a week studying computer science at school, they're more likely to see the importance of learning computer science. In Minnesota, we see a declining trend in high school graduates who are interested in STEM. In fact, and you've seen this several times today in this chart, Minnesota is dead last, and we're going to keep showing it because Minnesota does not like to be last in anything, not anything this bad. We are not a lost cause though, and Jenna will walk us through a high-level map of the many programs we have available to help our students.
Thank you, Lisa. And yes, you are correct. We are not a lost cause. Minnesota, especially around the Twin Cities, has a wealth of excellent programs designed to spark interest in technology early, encourage curiosity at all stages of learning, and foster continued education and connection across our tech ecosystem. What you see on the screen right now represents just a few of those programs, and we know there are many more. The question is, how do we better leverage these programs to increase and diversify our local technical talent pool? Lisa and I will share a bit more about how we have experienced these programs and aim to inspire you to take similar action.
So I'd like to dive a bit deeper on Technovation Minnesota, which falls in the middle and high school tier. Technovation Minnesota is a program of Code Savvy, which also includes code camps and clubs and the Minnesota Code Educator Program, helping teachers inspire equitable computer science. CS2Go with Code Savvy and Bites of Inspiration are two video tools created during the pandemic, and they are really good. I encourage you to try them out. Andrea spoke earlier in the Inspire track, and she runs that program. So I encourage you to check it out. Look for those things on YouTube. They're really fun videos. So Technovation Minnesota is the largest of the Code Savvy programs. Technovation Minnesota inspires and empowers girls to build technology to solve challenges in their communities. We provide free curriculum, mentor guidance, educational resources, and encouragement for girls ages 10 to 18. Our Technovation Girls and Alexa Skills Challenge benefit beginner to advanced computer science students, and with the development of business cases and pitches, have attracted and successfully engaged girls at all levels of interest in STEM. I thought it was a great comparison when Dave in the last session was talking about public speaking and things and how important that is. So bringing technology and those other pieces are critical to keeping our students engaged. We're here to bring technology and entrepreneurial programs to girls to spark interest, build technical and entrepreneurial knowledge, and develop confidence. We end our season with a huge event called Applepalooza. We celebrate the girls, we give the girls a spotlight to shine. We provide live pitch opportunities. We offer awards and scholarships, and we honor the huge support network the program provides. We operate primarily in the Twin Cities and Southwest Minnesota areas, but with the pandemic, we have gotten really good at virtual team management. So organizations and companies are taking on more meaningful partnerships. Coming from a nonprofit, funding is certainly a key aspect of obtaining your mission, but having an engaged and supportive community is just as critical. Technovation Minnesota has partnered with local companies to provide some amazing opportunities for girls in Minnesota. So here's a few examples. Cargill, we partnered with the Cargill Women in Information Technology Employee Resource Group to highlight girls whose apps are focused on Cargill's mission, which is to nourish the world. US Bank has partnered with Technovation for 6 years to highlight girls who demonstrate apps that incorporate one or more of the elements of US Bank's community pillars, including work, play, home, and play. In both of these situations, these businesses opened their offices and senior leadership to host the girls to pitch live in their boardrooms. When the pandemic hit, they pivoted the event to a live pitch conference call. Through these partnerships, girl students in Minnesota begin to build their networks. They receive valuable feedback from some of the top business leaders in Minnesota. The businesses got to share their inclusive cultures and inspire these girls to have confidence that the future of technology needs their ideas and innovations, and that there's a supportive community waiting for them. We heard a little bit about that from Jamie this morning too, and businesses working more closely with students and employees to get them engaged. Amazon opened up their engineers and Alexa skills curriculum to Technovation Minnesota to provide an advanced tech track for more skilled participants. We are now working with Thomson Reuters to build a new tech track specifically targeted toward marginalized students. We're partnering to build a pilot curriculum and infrastructure for a less intensive track that will be easier to introduce to students who may not have the capacity to manage an intense after-school effort. This curriculum will also be leveraged for in-class instruction through the Minnesota Codes program, as one of the pieces of feedback that we've heard is we love it for the girls, but the boys need just as much inspiration. Thomson Reuters employees are engaged in mentoring and judging, as well as several other roles. These examples show a few ways that businesses are building deeper and more custom relationships with organizations, how they're getting their employees and business needs engaged in the process. Jenna, let's hear how Target is partnering with local organizations to diversify their talent workforce pipeline.
Yes, I'm so excited to share this story. So Target has been working with a variety of local and national programs for years. The story I want to tell today takes us from our Genesis Works young professionals through college and boot camp graduates and landing in our emerging engineer program as active and engaged team members at Target. For 10 years, Target has been hosting Genesis Works high school interns. As Genesis Works created the talent development pipeline, we also shifted to support some of their alumni and host college interns in addition to our traditional high school interns. This allowed us an opportunity to work with some of these students for 2 or 3 years in a row, which was absolutely amazing. Now, while the Genesis Works program continued to grow and be successful, we began to recognize a gap in how, or more like where, we focused our software engineering recruiting efforts. This led us to sponsor our coding boot camps, especially boot camps focused on increasing diversity in tech like Dreamcore and HackBright. After a couple of successful boot camp cohorts, we started to make connections. Former Genesis Works interns connected to our Target-sponsored boot camps. You heard from one of those folks earlier this morning. Devon Goodwin is a graduate of the Dreamcore at Target boot camp. He and several others completed a rigorous 10 to 12-week boot camp and successfully interviewed to join Target in one of our entry-level programs. Which brings me to our emerging engineer program. This is where we start to see how our internal commitment to learning and development provides the necessary next step that turns a Genesis Works intern into a Target engineer. As an emerging engineer, our bootcamp graduates receive a year of extra connection, training, mentorship, sponsorship, and coaching. They are delivering on story points while they're continuing with their technical growth. To me, this is the secret sauce, which turns support for community organizations into amazing technical leaders and committed team members. And we know all of this effort pays off. Our emerging engineers are also volunteers. They mentor, coach, and sponsor future emerging engineers. And to bring us full circle, they eagerly step into roles supporting our Target Tech Kids program, where team members get to plan fun events for students of all ages to discover the amazing world of technology. On a personal note, my daughter has loved these programs. She has been able to do things from programming with Arduino to creating stop motion animation, all through the volunteers of our Target team members. The bottom line in this story is that Target is investing in programs to support technical talent, and that investment is paying off. We have strong community leaders, we have tenacious continuous learners, and we have the passion needed to drive our technology forward. Now, I know that what I've laid out is a lot, and it takes a lot to do that work, but we all have to start somewhere. So how do you get started? You heard from Caroline Karanja earlier this morning about the Tech Inclusion Alliance. Now, don't worry about trying to read all the words on this page. I know it's very small, but just as a little refresher, the Tech Inclusion Alliance is a CIO, CTO-led consortium working together to nurture and expand a diverse pool of local technical talent. To do this, they are focusing on expanding our technical talent pool and pushing employers to rethink how we find and retain that talent. Now, we would like to highlight one of the many great efforts you will start to see coming from the Tech Inclusion Alliance. This new tool provides a quick way to make connections that will support the many programs that we've mentioned today. And this is the MINTECH Connect tool. MINTECH Connect is a tool that you can use for identifying and connecting with any number of programs that exist to support our technical workforce. Whether you are a student or a parent, a business, a recruiter, or a community leader, you can navigate to programs based on one of three pathways. The K through 12 programs pathway helps students explore and discover their place in STEM. Some examples of programs you'll find here include High Tech Kids and Technovation. The post-secondary programs are programs which jumpstart a career in tech, like Genesis Works or Dreamcore Tech. And finally, the tech skills training gets you job ready through formal training programs like Code Savvy or Prime Digital Academy. Greg has placed a link to the MINTECH Connect in the chat, so go ahead and check it out now. This is an MVP product, and we need our tech community, including all of you, to take time to take it to the next level. And we'll get to that in just a minute. But first, I want to give a huge shout out and thank you to the folks who have been pro bono working on getting this tool off the ground. We've got Madhu Shanmugam, who is serving as our architect, Bridget Drummond, who is our product manager, and Megan Tank, who is our lead product designer. Thank you all for your continued efforts to support TIA. So now it's time for you to take action. And it's really, really easy. Like I mentioned, use the link in the chat to go out to MINTECH Connect. If you are joining us today representing a business looking to support our talent this morning, and I'm talking to small and medium-sized businesses as well as those big Fortune 500 businesses, find an organization that aligns with your goals and your passion. Reach out and make that first new connection. If you're representing an organization looking for volunteers or support or funding from one of our amazing businesses, there's another link in the chat to the ecosystem map form where you can either validate the information that exists if your organization is already listed, or you can add your organization to the list. If you want to dig further into some of the data that was presented by Lisa earlier, we've got a couple of extra links here, and we can share those. I'm assuming these decks will be sent out. They'll be in the deck. And of course, if you have any questions on anything we've presented so far, you can reach out to Lisa, myself, or Greg. And we have time now to take any questions if you have anything.
I just wanted to add how excited I am about this new website. You know, coming from corporate and now working in a nonprofit, I can't tell you how many times parents or teachers or whoever come and say, well, we love your program. We're kind of wondering what else is available. We want to try some different things. We want to try some different technology. Whatever the request might be. And it's been, it just hasn't existed. I remember being on the board at MINTECH, and we would use this probably 10-year-old PDF file that we'd sort of send around just with that, because it was sort of a running list of information. So this is good. This is going to be fabulous reference for businesses, for parents, for students, for anything. And I'm super excited about it too, as Caroline talked to us about it. They also talked about the opportunity to be able to use it as a means for collecting data and understanding, where are the gaps? What does the journey look like for people that are participating in these different programs? What's working and what's not. And I think it's a great way to sort of think differently about that workforce pipeline. I'm just really excited about it.
And I'm glad that we've ended a couple minutes early because I know that you all have time to go out and check out MINTECH Connect now. Go out to the forum if you're with an organization that needs to be listed. Go out to the forum if you're with an organization that is listed and do some validation to make sure your information is correct. We want to make sure this is populated with as much organization and data and accurate information as possible so that when people start using this and making those connections, they last and they are successful. Does anybody have any questions about MINTECH Connect or about any of the programs or things that you've heard from Lisa or I this afternoon, almost afternoon?
I have a question, I guess. Is anyone in the audience, do you have a story about how you've either have an organization that's partnered with companies, or if you're a company that have partnered with one of the organizations, any success stories that you want to share?
We have a quiet bunch. Oh, here's one.
Andrea has a question in the chat. Do you know what some future features of the site, for example, a spot to request speakers or a calendar of events?
I think that's a great question. And I think as the site, as TIA continues to develop and as the site continues to develop, Caroline and team will be looking for ideas and suggestions on how can this be useful.
Yeah, this is Caroline. I can just jump in real quick. So
Thank you.
we are looking to add more pieces to it. And so if you have suggestions, I will put one of my team members' names in here to email us and share those with us. But we were also looking into, how can we use this as an opportunity of understanding where some of those potential gaps are and where folks might be dropping off and reasons why. If those reasons are like geographical, for example, that's something that we can look into addressing. If they're financial. So just really understanding the barriers that might keep people who want to continue to expand and explore STEM careers and opportunities, making sure that those are available and accessible as much as possible. So that is one thing. And it's more about how we use the information and the feedback about how people are going through the program. But there are, to the earlier point, those other pieces around, potentially like a calendar or some other pieces. But the main thing here is that we don't want to also replicate something that's already there. We really want to leverage something that's there. So if you're seeing something happening that ties in really well with this ecosystem map, feel free to share it with us, and we're more than happy to amplify it or see how we might fit it into the current website that we have.
I think there's another question here. Will there be space for in-school K through 12 offerings?
Jenna, do you want me to speak to that as well?
Please.
Yeah, if you have an answer for that, thank you.
So the goal of this ecosystem map is to map out what's there. And so what we'll be looking to do is identify those K through 12 offerings and making sure that those are shared out through this platform. But if we see that there is a lack of those offerings and we need to kind of figure out how to bring more to the table, that is a part of sort of a larger TIA look. And that's why this ecosystem map is important. So if we see that we're not seeing enough, or we're only seeing them as like part of after school programs, and maybe we need to think about that a little bit differently, those are things that we'll be bringing up as potential policy changes or programs that could be implemented. So There will be space, as in like we want to create space on the website to highlight those things. But we are not necessarily creating the programs or the offerings. We're just looking to highlight, partner, and advocate for that to happen by those who are much better at doing that than we are.
Yes, thank you everybody so much for all of your contributions to today's event. We want to say thank you again to our sponsors, Optum, Thomson Reuters, Target, and Accenture for their generous support for making events like this possible. Be sure to keep in touch with us. You can find more information about events like this on our website, mintech.org. And also just an update, any replays of these sessions, including all of the breakouts, all 9 of the breakouts, will be recorded and sent out to all of the registrants via email, probably by the end of next week. And we just wanted to say thank you all for attending. It means a lot to us, and we are really glad that we could put on such an awesome event. Stay in touch.